guys, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints. Welcome back. Today we're going to be making this back to school bus pocket journal, and it's just a fun little journal you can create for a kiddo in your life who's maybe going back to school. And it's just got some cute colorful decorations, some places for recording information or putting in photos, and then it's also got these sweet little tags that are kind of interactive. And not all of them are, but a lot of them are. And it's just a fun little kit to give to a kiddo. So we're gonna be putting this together today. And let's go ahead and get started. So to begin, I printed out all of my pieces on cardstock, and you can find info about the kind of cardstock we use in the video description below. But I went ahead and printed it all on cardstock except for these pages, the lunchbox and the notebook pages. So these are actually on paper because we're going to be using these in a different way. But I went ahead and did the rest of the pieces on cardstock, and we're gonna begin with the cover. So, and just so you know, you don't have to print anything on the back. It's gonna be plain white. We're gonna be gluing things together to give them that kind of two-sided look. So with that in mind, we're gonna start with our school bus cover. And these two pieces are the front of the school bus, but they're just mirrored. And the reason for that is that we're going to put them together like this so that the bus has a front and back, and this will become the front cover. Same thing on this one, and it will become our back cover. So let's go ahead and start by gluing these together. And just do your best to keep things aligned. If you have a little bit of white showing, you can always ink around the edges, or you can just trim it up with some scissors. Okay, and you'll probably notice that one side has this kind of extra piece here, and that it's really flat and flush on this side. Same thing for the front cover. That's going to become the side that we use our binder rings on. And I've got two different kinds of binder rings here. I have fused and I have just regular binder rings. And you can use either one, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the fused for this project because I feel like it gives it more stability. I'll put links down below to these as well. So to figure out where we're gonna put our binder rings, we have this hole punch guide. And you can see it has a little picture of the bumper down here at the bottom. And that just tells us where we kind of need to align our guide so that it kind of covers this picture down here, if you can see that. It's going to just align with the edge and then kind of complete this little bumper image right here. And that's where we're going to punch our holes. So to start with, we need to punch the holes in our guide. And you could always just punch the holes using the guide, but I like to mark mine just in case anything goes wrong with a pencil. That way if I'm like, whoops, that's not right, I can fix it. Oops, see? Something went wrong, but it was with the pencil. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and just punch these out. Okay, and now this can actually become our guide. We shouldn't need this anymore. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and again, line up this flat side with the back cover. And we're gonna line this up, use our pencil, and then we'll cut these out. Okay, and now these should align, and we're ready to add our pages. So our pages look like this, and just make sure when you cut them out that you don't cut them in half. Keep them together. It's not the end of the world if you cut them in half, you could still glue them together, but they're meant to be folded. And the reason for that is if we put glue right here, it might shrink the area that we can fit a tag in. So, you know, right now I can go all the way to this folded edge, but if there was glue here, it would only fit maybe to there. So anyway, it just gives you the most area for a pocket. And it's really simple. What we're gonna do is make sure it's right side up, not upside down. And then we're just gonna glue the side and the bottom here. Stay as close to the edge as you can with your glue. Again, just so that we have the maximum area for a pocket. And I probably should have mentioned I pre-folded this one, so I'll show you how to do the fold on the next one. It's pretty obvious, but we're just folding it in half like this. And on this piece, I'm not entirely sure which way is right side up because I think the image kind of works either way, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this. And again, just keep that glue close to the edge. And if you've never used one before, this is called a bone folder. We also have a link for this in our shop. Not our Etsy shop, but in our Amazon influencer shop, which is linked down below, and you can find all the supplies we use. Okay, and we're just gonna repeat that for all the pages. Okay, and now that we've got all of our pages, we can go ahead and punch the holes for these as well. So again, we're using the front cover as our guide, and we're just gonna line up the pages. We're gonna actually just start with one page, and just make sure that it fits inside here nicely, and it's kind of where you want it to land. And we'll go ahead and mark that. Oh, and make sure it's right side up. That's where our holes line up, and it looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this page as my guide for the rest of my pages. All right, and just a reminder, when you're doing this, just make double sure that they're right side up, because if you do it upside down, it's not going to work. The pocket will be at the bottom instead of at the top. And it can be tempting to hurry right here, but just make doubly sure that you're actually on the circles, because if you misalign it, it could make some problems when you're trying to open your booklet later. Okay, and now we can go ahead and assemble our covers and pages. So we just line all the holes up, and then we'll put our rings on. And you can do this just one page at a time, you know, start with the cover and then do the pages, or you can try to just get them all on here at once. It just depends on what's easiest for you. And you can decide what page order you want for these. I don't think it really matters. Pick your favorite, kind of like the ABC as our front page, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, and our booklet is really starting to come together. So let's go ahead and work on the tags. So the first tag I'm gonna be working on is this clock tag, and it comes with the clock and then also these little hands. And I'm going to be cutting out this hole and then attaching these hands. Now, if you don't have a smaller micro-sized punch, you could always use a sharp needle or awl or something else to poke your holes out for this. Okay, and again, this is a 1/16 micro punch, and this is a Tim Holtz mini brad fastener. And if you're looking for these items, again, our Amazon influencer shop link is down below with the items we use. And what we're gonna wanna do is just punch out the center of our clock hands. And then we need to punch out the center of our clock, but this isn't going to reach. So I am gonna go ahead and get an awl. And this came in a bookbinding kit that I purchased to bind my junk journals. Okay, and I'm going to do the longer hand first, I think. That makes sense. And then the smaller hand. This. Let me see. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I'm putting this through the small hand. It really doesn't matter what order you put them on. Just like that. And then I'm gonna put it through the large hand. And you may want to reinforce these with a stronger cardstock. This one I'm using is kind of flimsy. So you could always glue them to a larger or thicker cardstock and then cut them out so that they're reinforced. And now we've got some movable clock hands. So we can set our clock set it for 3 o'clock because that's when we're getting out of school. And then we're just gonna glue this back piece on. And again, with these two-sided pieces, they may not align perfectly because not all of us cut perfectly. And if that's the case, you can always just trim up around the edges that aren't perfect. And there's one of our tags. So I'll set that aside and we'll keep working on our tag pieces. Okay, so next up is our backpack. And it comes like this. And if you accidentally cut this apart, it's not a big deal. It'll still work. Don't worry about that. And what we're going to do is these come in layers. We've got layer A, which is this dark piece, and then we've got the actual tag, and then we've got these other two layered pieces. And we're gonna start by folding this tab, just like this. It's not like perfectly straight across here, but you kind of get the idea. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue this blue piece down. You can see the shape of it kind of covers the backpack. We want to keep it kind of aligned here. And we're going to glue this tab behind it, and it's going to make this into a flap. So to start with, I'm going to glue the tab just behind this piece here. And you can kind of align it to see where it should go. So if the blue piece goes here, my tab is to go kind of here. This will be covering this here. I think that makes sense. Okay, so now we've got that folded onto there. And then we're going to glue this entire blue piece over the top of this piece. And then when we glue this piece on, we're gonna wanna put the glue all the way around the edge, as close to the edge as we can. And then you may even want to not glue too much of this top piece, just because it might prevent some of the items that we're putting in our backpack from fitting. So just stay as close as you can to the edge. And then I'm just gonna go a little ways up here on the side. And try not to slide it around too much because that'll also spread the glue. Try to align it as well as you can the first time here. And you can see this piece kind of pokes out to the side of the flap. There we go. And then the last thing we're gonna do with this is to glue it together. So we're gonna fold this in half and go ahead and just glue this, and this will become kind of the back of our backpack. And then we're going to be filling this backpack with some items, and that is our crayons or our colored pencils and our scissors. And again, if you cut things apart, it's not a big deal. We're just gluing them so that we have two sides. Just like that. And it just becomes a fun little interactive piece that you can play with. Okay. Now we're going to make our milk, and this is again a pretty simple process. You're going to need some kind of knife to cut this little slice out here, this little pocket. Okay, so I've got my blade knife, and this is just a scrap piece of cardboard to put behind it while I make my cut. I'm going to cut right along those dotted lines. And what we're going to do is take our straw piece, and I went ahead and scored mine using my scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, you could always just use a ruler and just try to make sure that you get a nice straight fold. And then we're gonna glue this together. And I know it seems kind of weird with this little tab, but hopefully that's going to keep your straw from popping out when you put it into the pocket. And that's our straw. And then what we're gonna do is come up from behind here, and we're going to pop our straw out of our little pocket here. Just like this. Okay, and then that's going to become a little interactive piece as well. And to keep that from getting stuck, we are just going to glue around the outside of our milk carton. We don't want to glue on the straw part. So that's just kind of a fun, again, little interactive tag for our journal. Okay, so we do have a couple of tags that aren't interactive. They're just kind of cute little school-related tags, and we're just going to glue those together. Okay, so next we're going to be doing our apple tag. And to begin with, we're going to glue our little bookworm together, just like we've been doing with the other tags. And while he's drying, we're going to glue our apple. And when you glue your apple, just make sure that you stay around the very outside edge, okay? We don't want to put any glue in the middle of this one. And you'll notice on your apple there's a dashed line. We are going to go ahead and just cut our apple in half on that line. And now our little bookworm is going to go inside of our apple, and he's going to hide inside of here. Get him inside. There we go, just like that. And then you can pull him out, and he's just a fun little surprise in the apple. And if you're finding your apples falling apart, you could add just a little more glue on the sides. Just like, you know, right here and right here inside of your apple. I'll show you. Because as you can see, the wormy doesn't go all the way to the edge, so there should be room for him if we add just a little more glue in here. And that'll help, I think, to stabilize it a little bit. Just a little on this edge, and a little on this edge. I'm gonna let that glue dry before I close my apple. You can see him kind of peeking out there. So next we're gonna be doing our notebook tag. And this you should cut out as one large piece. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by folding it in the middle. And you can crease it. I've already done this part just to make it easier ahead of time. And then same thing here, fold it this way and crease it. And your spiral should be on the closed side. And it opens kind of like a real notebook would. And then you can see this bottom edge is rounded. If you wanted, you could round this edge as well. I have a corner rounding punch, but I'm not sure it'll get through all these layers. I'm gonna give it a try though. Oh, yep, I did it. Did it without any trouble. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and just glue this together. Okay, and then what we're going to do is get our notebook pieces. And you can print out as many of these as you want. And we're gonna cut them into strips like this. And what you're going to do is you're gonna start with the one with the tab, just like this. And you're going to just fold this backwards and then fold it again. And you're folding on these shadowy lines. So fold it backward, fold it again, and then fold your little tab piece. And same thing with the next one. Fold it backward, fold it again. And you'll only be able to connect these using the tab piece. So just keep that in mind, that the tab ones will connect them. And if you want, you can score these ahead of time. That's what I did with my first one there, and I'm having a little trouble getting these aligned without scoring. So keep in mind, scoring may be your friend. And if you've never used a scoreboard before, sorry, mine's all covered with stuff, but I'm gonna try to pull it out here and show it to you. This is what it looks like, and I went ahead and actually used black marker to mark some of my lines because sometimes it's hard to see all the way down. It gets lost, like which line you're on. And then if you want to score these, you just line it up on one of the lines and you just score it. Just like that. So it makes folding a lot easier. There's a lot less guesswork. Okay. And then this piece doesn't have a tab. And it's going to be kind of the end of our notebook series of pages. I'll show you how this works. So we're going to take our tabbed piece and we're going to hook it to another tabbed piece, and then we're going to hook it to an untabbed piece, and it's going to become our notebook. So applying glue to our tab. We're going to attach it to the back of this notebook piece. And then the same with this one. I'm going to apply glue to the tab and attach one more set of pages. Okay. And then this first page is going to glue inside the front of our notebook. So it's going to glue in just like this. And then these are going to become our pages. Sorry, I folded these the wrong direction. Okay. And then these are going to become the rest of our pages. And then we need to end with a page that can also glue into the notebook. So I'm going to cut off this last page. Just like that. So just keep that in mind when you're making this, that you need a piece to glue here and a piece to glue here, and the rest will be your pages. And then I'm going to just glue these together. Again, just remembering not to glue the first and the last page. Leave those free. Okay, so these first and last pages are free, and then we've got our folded pages in the middle. Okay, and then you can see this red notebook line. It kind of goes on this left side, so just keep that in mind when you're doing your pages. And we're going to glue our front and back pages to the notebook. Pretty close. So now we've got a cute little notebook, and that'll become one of the tags that we put in our pockets. And this guy is really thick, so when you're done gluing it, you'll want to crease it a few times and maybe even clamp it shut so that it gets used to being closed and doesn't pop open too hard. You could even put a little paper clip on it if that helps. Just remember though, if you're giving this to a kid, to be sure that it's not, you know, a child that would try to eat or swallow any of it. Hopefully if the kiddo's going to school, they're old enough to know, but use your best discretion when giving these to kiddos. Okay, and then the last tag that we're going to be doing is our lunch tag. And this is like a little lunch bag, and it's going to be filled with some cute little food. So to do this, we're going to use our scoreboard. What we're going to do with this is we're going to just score along all of the lines, and that's going to be our fold lines. So everywhere there's a line, go ahead and just score that. And I feel like I've kind of saved the best for last. I don't know why, I just love this little lunch bag. It's just so fun to me to have a little paper bag filled with little pretend food. It really speaks to the child in me. And then we're also going to need to score these triangles, but it's kind of hard to do that. You can't really align it very well. So to do that, I'm just going to kind of faux score. I'm going to just run along it with my little plastic knife. And you could maybe use like the edge of a butter knife or something a little dull, and then maybe a springy kind of backboard to do this on, piece of cardboard or something. And that'll just help when we're folding things for it to know what to do. Okay, so then we're going to fold, well, first of all, I'm going to fold these bottom pieces, these tabs. And then this tab on the side as well. And then we're going to fold these side pieces. And this one folds backwards. And then try not to fold the tab, but you probably won't be able to help it. And then this way, and then this one folds backwards. And then this way. Okay, and you can kind of see where this is going. It's going to become like a paper bag like you would get at the grocery store. And then to start with, these two shorter tabs, this guy and this guy, are going to fold in behind this longer tab right here. So we're going to apply a little glue to the bottom of this and the bottom of this here and right here. And we're going to tuck it behind this longer tag. And you can see we're making kind of like a 90-degree angle right here. And just let those dry for just a moment. And then we're going to finish off by, we're going to apply glue. This is a little confusing. So we're going to apply glue inside this tab on the white part. And then the side tab, we're going to apply glue on the brown part. I know it's tricky. So just on the edge of this tab, and then on the brown part of this one. And you want to kind of get it all the way around on this one. Okay. So this one tucks inside to kind of hide it. And then on the bottom of your lunchbox, this one goes on the outside. And if you're having a hard time getting pressure on this one because there's nothing really to push against, you can always stick something down in there to kind of give yourself a little leverage. I'm trying to see if there's anything nearby that would work. There really isn't. Maybe I can use something like this. Just kind of push it down. There we go. Okay, and now we've got a cute little lunch box. And what this is going to do is, it's kind of dimensional right now, but it's going to become kind of a little tag that we stick inside of our pocket. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold these sides in just like on a real paper bag. And then we're gonna try to finagle this bottom part as well. And it may take a little finesse. It may not work quite right, kind of like a real paper bag. And then this bottom should flatten against it. You can see how it kind of flattens. Just like that. And then it can be popped open again, like a real paper bag, or it can be flattened. And then we're gonna make our little lunch pieces to go inside. And you know how this is gonna go. These basically just glue front and back, just like this. Okay, and now we have our fun little lunch pieces to go in our little lunch bag. How cute is that? So much fun. Okay, now we can grab all of our tags and put them into our journal. and some of them may be a tight fit. And if that's the case, if you've assembled your journal and you're like, oh, it's too tight, one thing you could do is try to print these at a smaller percentage, you know, like 90% scaling or something, and remake them. Or you could do the same with the pages, you know, try to remake some that are maybe glued too tight. So it's really kind of up to you if things aren't fitting quite right. And you can always widen these pockets out if things aren't fitting quite right. Just take a bone folder and just kind of turn it in here to kind of widen them. That should make room. And then we've also got our big notebook piece that you can add in to another pocket, just like that. And maybe I'll add this one into the back just because it might give the layers a little bit more of a, you know, front to back look. Smaller in the front, larger in the back. Okay, and again, you can put them in any pockets you want. You don't have to do it in any particular order. And then the cool thing about this book is it can become like a memory book for your kiddo's first day of school. And it has these little tags that you can add to decorate. So you can say my grade or friends, and you can add little photographs if you want to, or drawings, or whatever the kiddo would like to put in here. It's got my first day, recess, lunchtime, my teacher, back to school. So just fun little decorations for you to use in here. And then there's also some cute little images too, just, you know, a little idea, a little star and heart, and fun little things to decorate. So you can either let your kiddo decorate or you can decorate it for them and maybe leave room for pictures. It's up to you. And then finally, there's some little notes to encourage your kiddo. And you could glue these in, or you could just tuck them in here, or you could find another way to make fun surprises. You could write your own notes as well. Print out extras of the pages to write in, and just write some notes to your kiddo to encourage them on their first day of school. And that is our pocket notebook here. All right, everyone, thanks for crafting along, and we will see you next time. Bye.